Plenty. They're very raw. We've sort of fine-tuned how we wanted to play, which has probably taken us maybe a bit longer than what we expected. So we sort of didn't start to see the fruits of our labour till sort of that second round. It's given good experience for next year. So most of the girls are playing 2-3 years above how old they are. So I think the development happens out on the field, learning how we want to play, so our style. So yeah, it's been a massive learning curve for them. Yeah, the main goal was to not come last. So we've just achieved that. There's still a game to go this weekend, so some more points would be nice. That was probably the main goal, and also getting the girls to play football how myself and Mark wanted the squad to play. So that was probably the main thing. We weren't expecting to make semis or anything like that, starting from scratch and that sort of thing. So yeah, we achieved our goals. It would have been nicer to score more goals and get more points, but that's just the game, isn't it? Probably more points. I thought we would have won more games than what we did. I think experience and having a lack of seasoned NPL players is probably the reason we didn't get more points than what we wanted. Yeah, it's just the game. So girls learning as they play, and getting used to the physicality of playing older players, and yeah, just it's a whole new challenge for them. So yeah, more points would have been good, but we take what we can get, and there's probably games where we could have got points, but yeah, we just weren't able to sort of play for that 90 minutes for the majority of the season. So next year, the main goal is to get more experience to play first grade. I think the players we have that are eligible for 20s, who played in first grade and who played 20s, we're going to be very strong. But that's going to depend on how many 3 or 4 quality players we can get in that are going to help the younger ones as well. Because I think that's probably the biggest area we lacked in today or this season. And the youth, probably we're looking at more players in the younger age groups. That's probably where we lack as well. Just that squad size are very small. So hopefully that can be fixed in the upcoming trials. We can get more players, and there's enough so 14s aren't playing 15s and 16s and that sort of thing. So the succession is to have a big squad, same with seniors as well, get up to that sort of 30 mark. Player depth is the biggest challenge. Not having a big enough squad, so when we had a few injuries and we struggled around that sort of trial HSC period as well. So we're sort of putting together 17 players for 2 games. That's probably the biggest challenge, and that's something we hope to fix in the off season is having more players. Other than that, you're probably looking at playing well for 70 minutes, so that jump from the girls playing sort of 70-80 minutes in those younger age groups and now playing a full 90, no interchange. So yeah, the whole process this year was just a big learning curve. So it was all, for the young ones, it was all a bit of a challenge, I think. I'll start with Charlie O'Flynn. She's never played at this level before, and she's come along massively since sort of round 1 or pre-season. Gets out there, does what helps the younger ones where she can, does her bit in the canteen and those sort of things. A couple of other players would be Maren Clark. Started off in 20s and played most of the season in first grade, and that was a massive jump for her. And just to see her come along and grow as a person, and from the player that was sort of being pushed around in those early rounds till last weekend, where she's going up against 26, 27-year-olds, and she's getting under their skin. So that's pretty good just to see her grow as a person. And probably the final one would be Charlotte Taylor, similar to Merrin, playing way beyond probably what she was expecting this year. Put her in a new position as well, so learning that. Very sort of quiet off the field, but in the last few weeks, maybe a couple of months, she started to come out of her shell as well and show everyone, her personality and on and off the field. So it's been great to see those girls come along. There's been plenty of others as well, but if I had to single out three, they'd be the three. Second game against Inter Lions, we were up by 2 and we ended up losing 3-2. Just one of those games where experience gets you the points, and unfortunately we played for about 80 minutes and conceded in that last 10. So disappointed with that one. And probably the other one, similar sort of circumstances, was the second game against Flame, where we were down, we got in front, and then that last sort of 10-15 minutes we just let the game slip away, and we tried to learn from it, but there was a few games in that sort of last 15 minutes where we struggled to manage it, and hopefully that's something we've learned from this year that we can build on for next year. So they're probably the main two. There's a lot of other games that were sort of in it, but sort of never really tested the keeper out or those sort of things. But they are probably the biggest two that's at the front of my mind, where we should have picked up points, if not one. I don't think we're too far off. As the squad all trains together, we all learn the same things, and looking at how the 20s have played over the last sort of month and a half, they're sort of getting to that level. In saying that, first grade sort of way off, but I think that's more just the experience that we're lacking, and that ability to play under pressure and play against those older players who have been there, done that for many, many years. So if we were to put first grade in that 20s comp, I think they would be able to sort of play that way. So I think it's more just being under that pressure, and there's probably a little bit more time and space in 20s than what there is in first grade. But that's how I like to see football played. So it's been disappointing this year, sort of losing against teams that play long balls and those sort of things, but that's the nature of the beast when it's results driven and teams are trying to get promotion. But you don't mind losing to the teams that knock the ball around and play really well. So we're a little way off, but we're in a lot better shape this time than we were this time last year. Possession.
Why?
With purpose. So not just having the ball to have it, but to go forward, and the girls will tell you, training's all about play it forward where we can. Counter attacks, sort of, I don't know whether or not that's just something that I think sort of comes naturally. You win the ball, and as soon as you turn it over in that win it in that transition moment, you want to go quick as you can. But I'd prefer to have the ball and have the other team chasing us around and getting gassed before we do. Technical first. If you have no technique, then the game's near impossible to play. So if you can't control it, can't pass it, use both feet, all that sort of stuff, then everything else is more or less irrelevant, because you're going to struggle to pass the ball to your next player or those sort of things. Mental's the next one, because especially if we look at this year, where we didn't win any games in the first round, and that takes a lot of mental toughness to come to training every week and still have a laugh and still enjoy yourself. So the girls, I think we're in the last week this week, and we've still got 23, 24 players come to training. Considering where we sit, it would have been easy for them to all go, no, I'm not coming, and just turn up on the weekend. So I think that's very important. And then finally is the physicality part of it. And that's something that a lot have grown into this year. Probably not used to it, playing against players of their same age, but now you're playing against 27, 28, 30-year-olds, and you're all 16, 17. It's a big part of the game, and I think a lot of them have done well probably over the last month and a half, sort of getting used to that physicality and giving a little bit back and not just taking it all the time. Probably a little bit of technical, as far as, you know, I'm making a pass, where should I be passing it to my teammate? Where do I want to go when I get the ball? So that whole, you know what you're doing before you get it, but also sort of that mental ability in that sort of 80th minute to stay switched on and not sort of drift off and manage games when you're ahead. So those two are probably the most important. Technicals, yeah, by far the most important, and it's the little things they need to look at now on, you know, where's this pass going, where can the next pass go, and those sort of things. Goal for next season, improve on this year, bigger squad. I think they're probably the main two things. I think it's nice to say, it'd be great to make semis, but we've got to sort of be realistic. It's only going to be our second season in. But I think if we pick up the right players, I definitely feel that with the amount of 20s eligible players in first grade that would be able to play 20s next year, I think they should be maybe pushing for semi-finals. First grade will come down to, getting that sort of 24, 25-year-olds who have played at NPL 1 level, maybe not playing first grade as much as they want, and sort of coming out here and giving us a bit of a boost and helping the younger ones and sort of helping lift that intensity also of training. I think sometimes the girls taking it easy is probably a little bit harsh, but probably that intensity is not there for the full hour and a half of training. They all try, they all give it their all, but sometimes there's a bit of a lull in training, so having some more experienced players will help keep that high, and hopefully the benefits we see are in the games.